The Supreme Court ruled on a case involving a Christian baker refusing to bake a cake for a same-sex couple.
Man, you can tell already that this is gonna be dumb.
The owner of the place, Jack Phillips, realized the cake would be made for a gay couple and said he wouldn't sell to them because that would violate his Christian beliefs. Now, he didn't say, "I'm not making a special cake for you guys with 2 groom figurines on the top because that would violate my beliefs." No, he refused to even sell them the same cake he would have easily sold to a straight couple.
Lie, 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 lie! Right out the gate! According to the undisputed facts of the case, and as the Supreme Court ruling itself said, quote, in 2012, Phillips told a same-sex couple that he would not create a cake for their wedding celebration because of his religious opposition to same-sex marriages. Marriages that Colorado did not then recognize, but that he would sell them other baked goods.
Don't let anyone tell you this was about the baker's artistic creativity or his refusal to endorse a same-sex marriage. They didn't even get to that part of the conversation.
Outright lie! You're going directly against the facts of the case here, and I'll pretty much guarantee you that you're gonna get pushed to the wall for your incredible dishonesty by this atheist right here than you ever will be by any Christian.
He found out they were gay, decided he didn't want them as customers.
No, liar! He said he'd sell them anything else except a cake for a gay wedding.
It's wrong. It shouldn't be legal.
Yes, it should. We have a little thing in this country called freedom of association. Even if he did do what you claim, and he didn't, he still has the right to decide for himself who he wants to do business with. To force him to work for someone he doesn't want to is the very definition of slavery.
And that is what a Colorado commission said.
No, the commission blatantly violated the free exercise clause by saying that religious beliefs cannot legitimately be carried into the public sphere or commercial domain. They also called his faith despicable. Again, all of this is in the ruling amid facts that are not in dispute.
I really believe that even though the baker won the case, this was quite possibly the worst outcome for evangelical Christians for a couple of reasons. First, they won. I mean, not even by 1 vote. They won 7-2. They can't even tell their donors that liberal activist judges are coming after their freedoms. But the justices made clear that this ruling only applied in this situation.
That's not in the ruling anywhere. The relevant facts are that Phillips was not discriminating against them because they're gay, and the commission ruled against Phillips by violating his right to free exercise. There's another issue too. The commission also ruled on cases where bakers refused to bake cakes with anti-gay messages. In those cases, they supported the bakers and they gave as their reason that they were willing to sell other baked goods and they can't be forced to create a product with a message that goes against their beliefs. But even though those very same aspects applied to Phillips, all of a sudden that wasn't relevant there. Solely because of Phillips's religion. The commission was not applying the law consistently and impartially as they're required to do. Come on, this isn't even in Justice Kennedy's opinion. This is the basic ruling, which is just 3 pages long. But as we see later in the video, he references their rulings, so he has read it. He's not an ignorant person passing along talking points. He is deliberately lying.
So the big question now is, can Christian bakers legally discriminate against gay customers? We still don't know.
Because Phillips wasn't doing that! That wasn't what this case was about!
Another thing to talk about is why this was such a lopsided victory. Why did liberal justices rule against the gay couple? And why did Justice Anthony Kennedy, who's been a champion of gay rights on the Supreme Court, write the opinion in favor of the anti-gay Christian baker?
Maybe because he's actually familiar with the facts of the case, unlike you?
Kennedy said the commission showed hostility toward the baker's religious beliefs. It's a perfectly sensible comment. The commissioner said, Freedom of religion and religion has been used to justify all kinds of discrimination throughout history, whether it be slavery, whether it be the Holocaust. We can list hundreds of situations where freedom of religion has been used to justify discrimination.
And it's a little thing called guilt by association.
So Gorsuch said this was hypocritical. The commissioners were willing to defend bakers when it involved saying no to an anti-gay message. Therefore, they should have defended Jack Phillips, who said no to a pro-gay message. But Judge Not Merrick Garland doesn't know how logic works. There is a difference between saying no to hateful messages and refusing to serve gay customers.
He didn't refuse to serve gay customers. He refused to make a cake with a message he disagreed with. You absolutely cannot apply the law one way when it comes to anti-gay cakes, but then apply it completely differently when it comes to a gay wedding cake. If you were honest, you'd point out what the commission actually did. As Kennedy said, quote, "The commission ruled against Phillips in part on the theory that any message the requested wedding cake would carry would be attributed to the customer, not the baker. Yet, the division did not address this point in any of the other cases with respect to the cakes depicting anti-gay marriage symbolism. Additionally, the division found no violation of CATA in the other cases, in part because each bakery was willing to sell other products, including those depicting Christian themes, to the prospective customers. But the commission dismissed Phillips's willingness to sell other baked goods. It was a blatant inconsistency, and the only reason Phillips was treated differently was because of his religious beliefs. The only hate, the only hostility here was coming from the commission."
The gay couple didn't say, make us a cake that says it's okay to be gay. They wanted the same cake a straight couple would buy, and Jack Phillips said no.
Lie, 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 lie!
The bakers in his case are allowed to reject hate speech because they would have done that to anyone.
No one should be forced to write any message they disagree with.
It's pathetic that Neil Gorsuch doesn't understand that difference.
No, it's pathetic that you keep lying about the facts of this case.
My name is Hemant Mehta, and I write at friendlyatheist.com.
But you aren't at all friendly to people who disagree with you. You'll tell any lie about them to justify using the government to force your way on them while complaining that they're the ones supporting bigotry and slavery. You make me sick! Hey, if you enjoyed this video, why not hit like and subscribe? And to make sure I can produce more, support this channel on Patreon and Maker Support. And check out all the other great content here, like this video selected especially for you.